Got it. Got it first. I wasn't sure, man. I was like, oh boy. Is he gonna make it? I'm starting to think that maybe he might not. Welcome back, Mr. Techno. How are you? Yasha, welcome back as well. How's it going for you? How goes the Korok seed farming, by the way, Yasha? I was actually wanting to ask you about that the other day, and I thought, well, I don't know when I'll see her next, but I gotta remember that when I do. I really want to know, like, how the heck is that coming along? I mean, are you still doing it? Are you making good progress? What is this? Okay, weird. There we go. That's better. Because I know you're trying to, like, get all those and pretty much 100% it. Doing well? Excellent. I'm doing okay. Oh, hang on. Audio. Oh, and... Okay. Alright. Alright. We did notifications. We got that. Alright. Just audio and then I'm good, I think. There we go. Okay. Switch over my screen here. Yeah, I'm doing okay. I'm doing alright. I was a little under the weather, you could say, yesterday. And a little today as well. But nothing serious or anything. It's mostly, oh, it's my allergies. I don't know. There must be something in the air. It happens sometimes. And like yesterday, it was like, you easily could have mistaken me for a person with a cold. Like, it was that bad. I mean, it's just like, this is very, very unfun. Start the timer. There we go. Okay. So, did it actually start again? This game has problems. No. Okay, that is so weird. You can pause in that demo. This game is really strange. This game is so strange. That's actually what I'm going to be talking about once I catch up with you guys and make sure that you're all doing okay. Who else is coming back? Glowy, welcome back to you. How's it going? Frost? I don't know if Frost is actually here or if he's sleeping. We'll find out. Yo, Tinker Toy, welcome back. Not here for a long, little bit of medication mix-up, and I'm having some minor side effects. Gonna back to bed soon, though. Okay. Alright, fair enough, Tinker Toy. Well, welcome back, and I hope you feel better. I say that a lot to you, but I mean it every time. See, this is so weird. You press start, and it goes to, like, this, the start screen as if you were actually playing. If you press any arrow buttons, though, then it takes you back to this, because it's like, well, it was in a demo mode. It's so weird. Gosh, this game has issues. So, let's see here. Race team rosters, yes. Okay, so here we go. Alright. Let's see here. Just keep pressing that and keep waiting for it to go. Yep, okay. I will explain this in a moment, and hopefully it will make sense. But anyway, like I said, let me catch up first, and we'll then I'll get to that. Just gotta keep mashing start here. Just keep pressing start. I'm making progress. I stopped to make a pair of dance pants. Yo, dance pants? Do you have a picture? You gotta show a picture of that. Dance pants? I like the name. That's good stuff. Oh. We're dropping some frames apparently tonight. I apologize, everybody. I actually did not test my internet connection beforehand. Because usually if it's bad, I just don't bother even streaming. But tonight I was just kind of like a little, like I said, a little off. Because I'm just, my allergies been messing with me so much. Like if I sound a little congested, I am. I definitely am. But wow, over 300, Yasha. That's pretty impressive. You got the dedication going. Well, keep it up. I look forward to hearing when you hit 600, then 900. You'll have to let me know if it was mentally worth it, because I know you know what you get out of it, but you know, you'll have to let me know how you feel. Do you feel good? Do you feel great? Glowy, good morning. Welcome back. How's it going for you? Pens Prez. Hello to you too. How's it going? I know, one of the many reasons I love you. Well, I'm glad you know that, Tinker Toy. As long as you know that, that's important. Yo, Grape Juice, welcome back, Grape Juice. It's so much work. Yeah. I'm assuming you have a map, and you're not just running around and like, kind of like, you know, hey, good luck to me, and hoping that you find them all. I would assume you have that crazy map that looks like, you know, a big ant farm or whatever it is, and it's just craziness. But yeah, that's a task. That is a task. But hey, if you're having fun and it feels good, then that's all that matters. How far away? Let me check real quick here. November. Okay, we got some ways to go yet. Bought Destiny 2 yesterday and playing it at the moment. It's good. Cool. Oh, good. Oh, okay. Yeah, that did change the context a little bit there. I'm glad you clarified that. I was like, huh. Either it's really good or it's really bad or something. Well, I'm glad to hear that, Glowy. Excellent. You keep enjoying that. I'll have to check that out at some point. Maybe that's a game I should look at playing. I don't know if I would enjoy it, though. I've never played the first one, but I've heard good things, so that's a thought. Yeah, totally cheating it, but it's still a lot of work. Oh, no, I don't think that's cheating, honestly. I really don't, because it's just like... These days, it's too easy to stumble across information and whatnot. I mean, unless you, like, close yourself off from the internet and all of your friends that might know stuff. I feel like guides are kind of like... At least for me, I guess in my position, because it's like, it's so easy for me to say, oh, no spoilers, but then like, and claim that I'll never use spoilers on something. But then if somebody comes into chat and just busts out, you know, like, no, you got to do it like this, it's over there, or this or that. How can you unsee that? You know, it's like, oh man, you just kind of have that now. It's like, well, do I just go with what they said because now I know that's the optimal way to do it? Or do I just kind of like try to like work around it? But then what if I would have figured it out on my own eventually? I don't know. I just kind of... That's tricky. That is definitely tricky. I don't think that map is very useful. I feel like a guide telling... Somebody took the time to make a guide to find all 900 seeds. Wow. That is something. That is something. Wait. Those pants look so comfy. Did you link the pants, Yasha? Because I don't see it. I don't see any link if you linked a picture to the pants. How far are we now? Let's see here. Probably not yet. Okay, yeah, we got a ways to go. Little ways. No, you got to do it like this. Yeah, exactly. Phenomenal. Welcome back, by the way. But yes, that's why I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to ever claim that I'm going to beat a game without spoilers and all that stuff unless I like have chat closed or something, and it's just like, and it's just something that I can't like expose myself to. But even then, it's like, well, what if you're offline? You know, you have to expect people to trust you then that you're not looking and stuff. And I didn't want to deal with that with this challenge and stuff, which is why I was just like, you know what, I'm just not even gonna bother, not even gonna try to go without, because I just feel like that's too much effort in that way to try to prove. Not everyone has a swear fairy to purge spoilers. That's true. That is very true. Yeah, in Discord. Oh, okay. Discord is fine. All right. I will check that a little later then, because I got this up on my screen. But yeah, I'd like to see. I love when you guys share that stuff. The Korok seeds are usually puzzles, so a guide that has their solutions would be kind of cheaty. Okay, I guess I can see. Yeah, if it's like puzzles for some of them, but still, I don't know. I feel like guides are just kind of eh. Yeah, I guess that's what I was thinking. I figured it told you where they were, and I would rather have it, if I was doing that, I'd rather have a guide that just tells you where they are, because then I can kind of do the puzzles on my own. Wouldn't surprise me if they have that. Just told me that NHL 95 is widely considered one of the best NHL games, and they actually included it in NHL 16 for the anniversary. You know, Tinker Toy, I heard from one video that I watched that yes, this is the NHL Super Nintendo game. Well, okay, the NHL games are definitely very popular and whatnot, but I think from what it sounds like, the Sega versions are considerably better. I sure hope so anyway. But that's at least what I was gathering from what I was learning, and actually that's what I'm gonna kind of lead up to. A lot of them are burning leaves. Oh, interesting. I don't think I found too many that involved leaf burning. Mine, the one that I seemed to notice the most that was like, oh, this is how it works kind of thing, and seemed to follow the same pattern was the ones where you have to put the apple down. It was always putting an apple down somewhere. I think I found like 10 of those in my travels, so I can't imagine how many I missed that are still other apple ones. But burning leaves, I seem to recall maybe like 1 off the top of my head. Probably more, but I forgot maybe. Oh, that's interesting. Frames, please. Thank you. I like the ones where you go bowling with the big rocks. All right, so let me explain what's going on here and what's going on in general. Let me just check here. How far am I? Okay, January, February. I think it was like something like that. All right. So yeah, I'm sure some of you are wondering like what the heck is going on with this game right now. What is he doing? So all right. When I okay, a second. I had one for about 3 seconds before it stopped working. Oh. The N64 one, the only one I played on N64 was Wayne Gretzky's 3D hockey, I think they called it. And that was actually quite fun, but that's because all I did was go around picking fights with the other players and beating them up. Because I learned how to like fight that game real fast. I was like, how's this work? And I got really good at it. And then I basically total out their whole team. And that was the victory. I don't think I ever actually won the game by just playing it like in the intended way. I just beat everybody up and laughed and thought it was so ridiculous that you could do that. NHL 96. Okay, so the NHL games on Super Nintendo anyway, at least, you got 93 and 94 and 95, I believe. Those two are pretty seemingly basic and whatnot and have a lot of their issues, like this one here. This one, in my opinion, has a lot of issues. But apparently they revisited 96 and up to 96, 97, 98 and made a lot of improvements. And I quickly took a look at 96 and it was like, yeah, okay, I can see a difference here. Anyway, yeah, so going back to this, you're playing through the regular season games, yes? You could say that, I guess, what's happening here. Only the Sega. Okay. Yeah, the Sega no, it's fine, Tinker Toy. The Sega versions, as far as I can tell, are regarded as the better versions, and I just kind of assumed that by default. I didn't even, like, before I even heard that from a couple videos and stuff, I just figured it was because that kind of game is definitely where the Sega Genesis would shine above the Super Nintendo, not in terms of graphics necessarily, but because of processing capabilities to allow that many entities to be on the screen at a given time and actually function properly. So is this the let the AI do the whole season and then pick up a qualifier to play? Nope. That's what I'm getting to. What's going on here is February, March. I believe we go into April. Okay. What's going on here is this game actually yay meds, I just sort of take mine. That's such a happy, oh, I'm so happy I remember to take my meds. Well, I'm glad you remembered, Yasha. We'll have to remind Yasha. That should be one of our things now. Whenever Yasha comes in the chat, don't forget your meds. Don't forget. Anyway, I believe, yeah, I'm pretty sure April is where we're gonna kind of start to see some differences here. Hey Andy, alt-tabbed for now, but it's great to see you. Zoki, that sounds good. Well, whatever you're doing, enjoy it. Have a good time. It's great to see you too, Zoki. Welcome back. Oh, Rakdo. I'm sorry, Rakdo. You came in, but I didn't welcome you back. I think that's happened before, actually. Rakdo, welcome back, though. I hope you're doing well. MSIC08. Hello, and welcome to the stream. Feel free to chat or lurk. I usually take them around 9 to 10, so it works out. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, you're pretty close. Well, actually, I don't know if you're in the same time zone as me, but it sounds like you must be somewhat along the same lines. Okay, we got a little bit to go yet. Alright, one day I will actually explain what the heck's going on here. So yes. I can't help it. I just love talking to you guys. Alright, so here's what happened. When I last streamed this game, it definitely triggered some thoughts for me about my rules for this whole thing. It really made me think a lot about it, and I knew that this game was a bit of an anomaly, and I knew there would be games like that, and so it really got me thinking, and that's why I didn't actually stream yesterday. I literally spent a better part of yesterday just thinking about this challenge and the rules and how I want to handle things, because this game, I knew there was going to be a game that kind of threw a monkey wrench into the works, and this did it. It definitely did. And I was trying to work around that and whatnot so that we had a pretty good defined line. But let me explain here before, because I know there's going to be some suggestions, but let me just kind of go with it. It's 8:58. Let's see. 9, 8. It's 8. Oh wait, if it was 11, it'd be 9. So you live in a 2-hour time difference, it's usually a 3 or a 1 hour difference. I have no idea where you live, Yasha. Because I could be wrong, but I thought Central Time was 1 hour behind me. And then basically over on the West Coast, it's 3 hours. But what you're saying sounds like 2 hours, so that's interesting. So here we are. Canada. Ah, okay. I was gonna say, that sounds like you're in Canada or something, but I don't know the times. Okay. Mountain time. Do you live in the mountains? Alright, so here we go. Now, you might have noticed things have changed a little. It went from just days of the month to, like, you know, January blah. But now it's actually Sunday, April 3rd. So now we're getting a little more defined with our times. Alberta, woo! What's the app called that you use, Tinker Toy? Because that actually sounds like something that my mom could use. Yeah. Yeah, that definitely sounds like something my mom could use. If you could Dozecast, can you link that to me on Discord or Steam, please, Tinker Toy? Because in here I know I'll forget. And I'll have to tell her about it. It probably could be something nice. Thank you, Tinker Toy, by the way. Yo, Aces, what's up, man? Welcome back. How you doing? From BC. BC. Ooh, I don't know that. It's free and really cool. Ooh, free is good. Free is always nice. Free is always nice. Yo, you ordered a Switch? Yo, Aces. Nice, dude. I'm assuming you're gonna get the Zelda then, the way you were talking and whatnot, so when you get it, I really hope you enjoy it, man. You're gonna kick butt at it. I already know you're gonna absolutely wreck that game. British Columbia, okay. Okay, alright, yeah, I should have known that. Okay. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure Ace is gonna be getting the Zelda. If he doesn't, well then, what the heck? What did you get a Switch for? Okay. Let me, alright, here we are. We're at the last little part of this. Now I'm gonna set aside chat for a moment so I can fully explain this, because I do want this kind of on record here. And just to explain what the heck's going on. So, yeah, day before yesterday, like I said, when I stopped streaming, I was really like, this game really made me feel concerned about my rule structure that I had set up, to an extent anyway, because I said that I would have rules put in place for games that were kind of awkward or whatnot. But one of the things that bothers me about my rules and the way that they were is that I was kind of adapting on a per game basis, and I don't really like that. That feels very flimsy. It feels very possibly contradicting to other games in the future, and just problematic. And I don't like that. I do not feel good about that kind of thing. It makes me feel very like thrown together, not very well thought out, and I just don't like that. So the reason why I didn't stream yesterday is because, yeah, I did a lot of thinking about it. I really was thinking about this game in particular because this is an odd one. I did a lot of thinking about just kind of how I want to restructure the rules a little bit. They're not drastically different, but I do want to make some changes to it. And honestly, I really like what I came up with. I'm pretty happy about it. So here is basically what I have and what I've come up with. If anybody feels like they want to contribute to this, by the way, if you're like, hey, this or that, I'm willing to hear it out. But just so you know, the overall idea that I have here, I'm pretty much, not entirely, but I'm pretty much set on it because I feel like this is probably the best way to handle the overall Super Nintendo challenge that I'm doing here. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for, instead of just kind of one game after another, how can this kind of be beaten and how can that, you know, I want some general guidelines that are either all-encompassing or like 99% all-encompassing, and I think that's what I've got now. I really do. So here is what I've got. Basically, the main rule that I had in the first place was if the game has a clearly defined beginning and end leading to a win condition, then that's pretty straightforward usually. I mean, you know, you pop in Mega Man X or Donkey Kong Country and you start at the beginning and you proceed forward, you get to the final boss, you beat him, credits roll. You know, there's really no debate there on how that game should be viewed as, you know, started, finished, and completed. So that rule there is for the most part, I think, pretty good. The problem is when you get to games like this. This game really got me thinking because it's very debatable, and this is where I have issue. I do not want debate coming up. I do not want to sit here and have to, like, I know that at some point if I have my rules set up in a way where you can debate them, then people will come in and be like, well, you said this about this game and this, but isn't this game similar to that game, and shouldn't it follow the same rules as that one and stuff? And that's why I'm trying to have more so overall guidelines rather than too specific for different genres and different games, because it's just, I don't want to go through that, and I don't want to seem like I'm breaking my own rules. Instead, I'd rather just have all-encompassing guidelines to follow, and hopefully this works, which I think this will work. First and foremost, when I was thinking about all this and putting it together, I thought, you know, the biggest issue is that I am doing a challenge that, with the wording in that challenge, is he beat every game, right? I mean, that's generally the wording is that's put out there, is you beat every Super Nintendo game. Well, the fact is you can't. You cannot beat every Super Nintendo game out there because some of them do not have a win condition. They don't have, like, oh, you beat the game. It doesn't clearly define it, and that's a problem. That is a definite problem. So rather than try to fight against that, because I thought, well, you could go for these games and you could kind of make up a win condition. And as an example, even speedrunners try to make up win conditions, like NHL 94. This is 95. NHL 94, because it doesn't have a clearly defined win condition, the speedrunners actually came up with a goal where you have to get 10 goals as fast as possible. You don't even have to do it in one period. You can do as many periods as you want, but as soon as you get 10 goals, you pause the game and you look at the timer and you're like, well, speedrun's done. So there are speedruns of that. Because they just want a run of the game, but they try to make it up, which is understandable. It's fine. Another game that's a good example Hey Recon, welcome back. Don't worry, I'll get with you guys in a second here. Another thing that came up that I was like really concerned about is this game right here. I don't know how well you can see it, but this is the Williams Greatest Hits that we just bought the other day. And this game, if you go by, if you say, well, what are the rules? You know, how do you define the rules? Do you say set the highest score? Which initially that's what I did. I said let's set the highest score on this game because I thought that seems like a good win condition there. But the problem is, apparently, at least on the there's Williams Arcade's Greatest Hits, and then there's Midway. I don't know about this one, but I do know at least for the Midway Arcade's Greatest Hits, all the high scores are super low, like super low. So there is a speed run of the Arcade's Greatest Hits for Midway, but the speed run is like 6 minutes long. It's like 6.5 minutes because the guy just goes in, he sets a high score. Some of the high scores there aren't any. It's just 0. So he goes in, he gets like 10 points, and he's like, okay, good enough, and then he moves to the next game. And I'm like, that doesn't seem so fun. I mean, I get the logic, but I thought that's not exactly fun for me either. So here you're gonna have this whole messy ball of crud when it comes to games that don't have a clear and defined win condition, and people are going to debate it left and right, and I don't want that. I don't want anything to do with that. I spend enough time trying to deal with all the other stuff that I'm dealing with in my life. I just want to be able to pick up the game and have like a clear goal in mind and not have to do it for every single game, which I already have to do research anyway to find out if the game has an ending at all. That's enough for me already. So, and I was thinking about that, and I was like, well, it's not like I have to answer to some community or something like that in terms of like that there's some kind of great guideline set up for this. So here's what I come up with to deal with all of this. I weighed the pros and cons, and the cons far outweigh the pros far outweigh the cons for this. But like I said, if you guys are like, well, wait a minute, I found a serious flaw there, by all means, let me know. But I think this is actually pretty good. Rather than try to ever say that I have beaten all Super Nintendo games, which is just not a possible thing. You can't say that. Nobody can say, hey, I beat every single Super Nintendo game. Hey, Dusky, welcome back. Rather than trying to say that, that's just an impossible statement. You cannot say that you can beat every Super Nintendo game. So what I'm going to do is actually have a great divide. I'm going to have games that have clear and defined win conditions marked as I completed those games, I beat that game. But if there's a game that is questionable and has a lot of debate to it, I've decided I'm not even going to try to come up with win conditions for it so much. I'm not going to try to, because like right here, you could say, well, play one game of just a regular game, beat that, and that'll be counted. And logically, to me, that I get that. I feel that's a very natural way to go about this. But the problem I have with that is, again, once you get to games like Mario Paint and stuff like that, or like the Arcade's Greatest Hits, it gets complicated. And I don't like complicated and convoluted. So instead, any game like this, where it has a questionable win condition, where it's just like, you know, this is weird, and nobody kind of knows exactly, and it's up for debate, I figured, you know what? I'm not even going to say that I'm going to beat that game. Instead, I'm going to categorize it as a game that you experience. Any game that is categorized as a game that you experience, like this, Mario Paint or others, I'm just going to have it where you go in and you have the freedom to experience the game for what it is. You can play a match. You can do it the fast way, as what I just did here, which is why I did that, and I wanted to do that. Or you can just basically go in and experience the game. The minimum amount of time to experience a game is going to be 1 hour, but I'm always going to have it as probably like 1 hour and 15 minutes or something like that, because I talk to chat and whatnot. So I feel like in order to just kind of have this divide so that people know my intentions, and there isn't a whole lot of back and forth and arguing, and like, because I just don't want that. That's what I'm going to do for this challenge. I'm just going to clearly define this game is beatable. There it is. I mean, you can see it clear as day. It has a winning condition. There's the congratulations screen, etc., etc. And if it's something like this where the winning condition, the reason why I keep pointing out this game is because the winning condition, let me show you how you can technically show a winning condition in this game. You press start, and it goes to the playoffs, and it's like, okay, cool. Now, as far as I know, you can, I think to progress it, yeah, playoffs day 2. All right, so we're going to progress a little bit. I thought it was done, and I didn't want to like go too fast so that you guys could see. But we're still basically letting this game play itself out through these playoffs. And there you go. There's your winning screen. Congratulations. I literally didn't have to do anything. So this could be very debatable, like, well, did he just play through game? But he didn't do anything, you know? And then it would be an argument of, well, the developers intended you to go in, though, and play with the little dudes and that stuff. But then if you play with the little dudes, I checked. This game does not change this screen. Nothing changes if you complete the final tournament and stuff and you actually play as a person. I did it on emulator yesterday because I was really like, you know, what's going to happen? Is it going to be different? It is not. It's identical. And this game brings up a lot of debate. What is considered actually the legit way to beat it? And I'm sorry, I don't want to deal with that. I don't care enough. Like, I don't want to sit there and try to hash out all these different games and the specific mechanics of how to beat them. So, to heck with it. I'm going to just, like I said, categorize this game. This game is an experience game. You experience it. Yesterday, or the day before yesterday, we played some games, did okay here and there and stuff. A question might come up, do you have to win, though? See, again, that requires definition, though, of what a winning thing would be. So I said no, because that brings up too much of an issue. It's just going to be any game that is an experience. Play it for an hour, or like I said, an hour and 15 minutes, and then there you go. You experience that game. That way, if anybody wants to say, well, he didn't technically beat it because I feel if you do it this way or that way, that would be beating it, which people will feel that way. Some people will argue you need to start at the beginning of the season and play every game, even though it lets you skip it. You should anyway, because that's how you do it. Some people might argue, you know, well, let the computer do all the work until you get to the final game, then play the final game. But again, like I said, it doesn't matter because it gives you the same screen. And I don't want to argue it. I don't want to sit there and try to justify it. I don't want to like get bit later on because it's like my own rules contradict each other. As of right now, though, this seems to be the better way to do it, is just to have a great divide right in the challenge and just say, these are beatable, these are experience. And that's what I'm going to do. Anyway, the nice thing about that, though, is if I have a 1 hour minimum for games that don't have a clear and defined win condition, now this game goes from, instead of being literally like maybe 6 to 7 minutes long by my old rules, it actually gets about 5 hours minimum. It gets, come on. Oh my gosh. Wow. Sorry about that, guys. That was a really bad drop right there. Jeez Louise. Man, that was the worst I've ever seen. Anyway, what I was saying though is this gets a 5 hour minimum amount of playtime now with the new rules, and I'm really happy about that. That's something that I really I like about this new setup, because then every game gets to either be beaten or it gets some time in the spotlight, and that's what's really important to me, is just, you know, showing it off too instead of just kind of quickly done. Anyway, so let me catch up on chat here and actually see what you guys are saying. Again, I'm sorry for the dropping of the frames. I really am. Gosh, I wish there was something I could do. I'm gonna call my ISP again though and let them know. They are trying. Like, the people that work there are trying to figure out what's going on, but they haven't yet. Anyway, though, Dusky Stalker and Recon, how are you both doing? I didn't actually ask you, so how's it going? Berm Dog, welcome back, dude. How's it going for you too, man? I don't know if you can tell when I'm talking if I sound like really congested, though, but I am. I really am. Everything you're saying makes sense. Not arguing. Okay. Yeah, it's tricky. Any game that has no win condition must be played for at least 1 hour or more. Can be played if you're enjoying it. I would actually like it to be. I would like it to be that even if I'm not enjoying the game, I still think an hour is a good number to say, yes, I experienced the game, so that I can really fully grasp the awfulness if it is a bad game. If it's like, man, this is really terrible, but now I really experienced it. So I feel pretty good about that, honestly. I really feel like it's okay to have that hour minimum for every game. Because it's only an hour. That's a good amount of time to feel the game out and really try to understand it and get the idea of what they were going for. But it's not long enough to make me like, gosh, this is instead it might just be like, all right, I'm just counting it down, like, all right, how much time is left now, kind of thing, and just going from there. Oh, my timer actually was reset apparently. I meant to continue it off of the time. Oh, it's gonna be a little messy. That's okay. Because yeah, I was actually going to continue off of my timer from the other day when I was streaming this. Just feels like the sports one theoretically should be simpler as well, but at the same time, if you have to play a whole season, that's so time consuming. Well, if I have to though, like this game right here, King Griffey Jr. Baseball, it very well looks like I might have to. And if that's the case, that's the case. I'm fine with that. When I was playing this the other day, I was like, you know what, here I am, kind of like trying to bust my butt for a victory that I'm like, is not even like clearly defined, and I was really feeling like not good about it, and that's why I was just like, you know what guys, I need to think about this. I found a fatal flaw in my guidelines, and I thought, no, I really have to address this, because I really want it to be later on that we can always look back on the rules and say, okay, it conforms to this or it conforms to that, and just I want to feel good about it. And I'm sure there's going to be people that give me crap about it at some point or another and want to debate this and that, and I understand that. That's fine. That's going to happen. But at least for me as a person to say, yes, I feel good about my own rules, that's what I'm happy with, especially since I'm the one putting this on myself, ultimately. If that's not an endgame screen, I don't know what is. Well, see, again, this could be debatable, though. I mean, this is like, boy, this looks like an endgame screen. But again, people will argue, like, but you didn't actually play any of the intended game, and there'd be debate here. I know there would be debate. And it's just so much easier to say, you know what? This is more of an experience game. Personally, if there was some choice that absolutely had to be made about whether or not this game was beaten, like by seeing a victory screen or not, yes, I would lean towards that. I personally do feel like this is it. You don't actually have to play because they built the game like this. It's more of like a simulation kind of fantasy game thing, which I'm fine with. But again, it causes debate, and I don't want that. I do not want this big argument going on. So ultimately, I will classify this as a strange experience kind of game. I'm still catching him on chat here, by the way. Fair enough, Techno. Yeah, honestly, Techno, I think we share the same opinion on this game. I really do. It's sort of the definition of games is playing them. So to me, it seems like you have to play some of it. See, Tinker Toys, see there, no, exactly. Exactly, but it's like, yeah, did I really play? Well, I did press the start button a whole bunch of times. I mean, do you have to press the A, B, X, Y buttons too to be playing? Do you actually have to go into the game? It's so debatable. It's such a silly thing. TMR, he made up different win conditions kind of as he went for certain games, which is fine, which is totally fine, but I don't want to do it that way. I do not want to make up win conditions as I go. I'd rather have all-encompassing rules that hopefully are all-encompassing. I could be wrong here, by the way. It might be a month later that I'm doing this, or it might be tomorrow that's like, oh my gosh, my rules have failed me again. But I feel pretty good about these, honestly. I feel really quite good about the separation of these games are clearly defined as beatable. These are just strange and experience games. Take it for what you will. If people later on want to give me a hard time and say, well, you know, you can't claim you beat all the Super Nintendo games, I'm not going to. I'm never going to ever claim that I beat every Super Nintendo game. Unless it's like in quick conversation. If somebody's like, hey, you beat all the Super Nintendo games? I'll just, yeah, I did. But I mean, if it's like, so how does that work? I would then explain, yes, in my opinion, you can't beat them all. So I beat the ones I could beat. I experienced the ones I could experience. If it came up in conversation kind of thing. All good over here. Beside the ton of work I have to complete lately. Glad I was able to find time to watch your streams again. How about you? I'm doing okay, Recon. Doing alright. A little under the weather, like I was saying, but otherwise doing okay. Yeah, I'm glad you're doing good, Recon. That's excellent. I hope you're getting to play some Zelda, not just working, but playing Zelda and enjoying it, I hope. Does an hour of staring at congratulations screen talking about how bad the game is count? Maybe. Thank you for the puppies in chat. Time consuming is the problem. It's defining the path to victory. Yeah. I thought it was 2 times, Techno. I thought I was gonna play the same Final Fantasy game 2 times. Correct me if I'm wrong. I thought it was 2. Andy, you know a baseball season 162 games. I believe the Ken Griffey Jr. one though is dropped down to 26. That's what Devil was saying. But if that's how it is, that's how it is. What I'll do then, let's just say theoretically this game really does have 162 games, and there is no way that I could do this. Like, if it allows me to skip ahead by using like an auto calc condition, it's not a cheat code, it's just how the game mechanically works, and I can just skip way ahead, then I'm gonna do it because the game allows for it. And if I have to define it as a experience game, I'm fine with that too. But if this game requires me to do 162 games, and there is no skipping, it's all like just one game after another, etc., you know, then I'm gonna do it. If it means getting to the win screen, if it has a win screen, which I believe this game does. I'm fairly certain it does. I think it does anyway. So I'm fine with that. It's just any of the weird games like this, that's where I'm not fine with it. And I'm like, this is not good. I was very like almost irritated by my rules and stuff because I was like, how do I define this? And that's when I was just like, I have to redefine my rules. I have to, because I did not feel good about them. I'm a little cold. Let me get my jacket real quick. US, JP, and EZ. Now wait a minute. Yeah, see, Final Fantasy IV, as far as I know, unless the US and Japanese versions are drastically different, then I only need to do it one time for the US and JP, and then I need to do the easy type. Okay, we have one other rule. For games without a win condition, you must set yourself a personal goal and complete it just for fun. You see, that's... I don't like the use of the word like putting it like complete, because again, what defines it as complete? Unless you mean a personal goal where I just say, hey, like real quick, like I just out of nowhere say, oh, okay, I'm gonna do this or something. I mean, I guess I could. If you mean just throwing it together real fast, not having to like debate it and stuff, but the only reason why I kind of hesitate to agree on that, and I need to think about that, I need to just think about it, is because I just don't want to set up anything where it could be problematic, and I need to think about that. That's an interesting thought though, Frost. Go Buck Fear, welcome back, Go Buck. How are you today? Did I miss any? I feel like there's more people in chat than I may have. No, I guess I welcomed everybody back. Okay. Okay. There's over 1,500 games on the list. I'm pretty sure Andy is more than prepared for it to take a long time. I am, yep. It's currently the count as of right now, because we added Star Fox 2. I got Star Fox 2, by the way. It's not here, but I got it. And I got a really sweet deal, you guys. Not only did I get Star Fox 2, I got a box and manual for it. Yes, and I got it for about the same cost as just the cartridge alone for what I showed you guys the other day. I got a sweet, sweet deal. I can't wait till it all gets here to show you guys. A Trivium fan? What's Trivium, Yasha? What is that? So anyway, the current game count is 1,840 games. Final Fantasy IV US cuts a lot of content, so to me it's technically a different game. I'll have to look into it, because yes, any game with a lot of content differences, if it's just language, I don't count language because of translation. I don't know, I don't feel like that's enough content. But if we're talking like a massive amount, like, well, not a massive, just a bunch of bosses. Okay, if we're talking about bosses, areas, and stuff like that are different, then yes, it sounds like I will be playing it 3 times. So it might be 1,841. I played Zelda a little, and it's still tons of fun, but I didn't reach the first tower yet, the elephant thingy. Okay. It's fine, Recon. I'm glad that you're enjoying it. That's excellent. Excellent. I'm so glad to hear that. It's not the win condition, but just your personal goal for that game. Okay, I like how you put it like that. Okay. Trivium is a metal band. Oh, okay. No, I've never heard of them, Yasha. I've heard some metal bands that I enjoyed. I'm very picky about music though, but yeah, I've heard some that I was like, yeah, I enjoy that. Others not so much. It really just depends. I'm kind of a picky man about that stuff. Like for a soccer game, it could be I want to score 5 goals or something. Still an experienced game if it has no ending. I like that, Frost. I like that. Let me think about it a little more in depth and my wording of that, because I have to be very careful with my wording. See, one of the reasons like why I have to think about, well, I just have to think about it anyway for future stuff, but also I want to be careful because I know what's going to happen later on is people will come into the stream that are new, and you know, there's just people out there that like to nitpick and stuff like that, and that's fine. I get it, because some things need to be nitpicked. And so I'm trying to keep that to a minimum, hopefully. And that was the goal of trying to come up with this rule set. But Frost, yeah, I think you're onto something there, if it's just kind of my own little, oh gosh. Oh, Berm Dog. There it is. This game that Berm Dog just mentioned is fun, in my opinion. But gosh, he said it's one of favorites from his childhood, but he never beat it. This game is... I'm nervous about this game. This game, the final boss Carnage, is devastatingly difficult. Like, he is so difficult. This is a really, really, really tough game. It's actually pretty difficult. Oh, am I dropping? Yeah. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah. Hang on. Hey, yeah, it is dropping. Yeah, we're having some frame drops, so it most likely might not be you. I'm so sorry, guys. I really am working on trying to get that fixed. But anyway, yes, this game is incredibly difficult. Like, at first it doesn't seem too bad when you're going along, but then it just the difficulty ramps up. The only person that I have ever actually seen consistently beat this game is a speedrunner by the name of Josh the Funk Doc. And I very well might be going to him for some help in the future, because it's crazy. It is just crazy. I mean, it is like, it's really tough. It is no joke. I look forward to it, though. I really do. Okay, so I actually did play this game. I just pressed start, by the way. You can see right here, it shows a little victory, like, hey, cool. And then you can cycle through it with the pad if you want, just to kind of see the players. But if you just press start, then it loops back. And like I said, this same thing happens even if you play any of the games. So, excuse me. I'm just going to add that time together from the time that I streamed the other day, because we already played it for, like, I think over an hour there, or close to it. But as far as I'm concerned, this game is just awkward. I honestly